we shall discuss important teaching skills in detail. Number 1, introduction, questioning, explaining, stimulus and variation, reinforcing and closure. First, we shall discuss skill of questioning. As we know, one of important teaching skills is asking question to the student. Asking questions stimulate deep thinking and make students more active in the classroom. Also, questioning promotes a student-centered learning environment in the classroom. Let us now discuss the objectives of questioning skill. The main objectives of questioning skill are to make students more active in the classroom, to draw the desired information from students, to enable students to apply their knowledge to a specific new situation, to enable students to think deeply, to motivate the students in the classroom interaction, and to enable the learner to read his or her student's mind. Based on these objectives, there are certain characteristics of a good question. The level of students' thinking depends upon the level of question asked by the teacher. The characteristics of a good question are as follows: grammatical correctness, conciseness, specific, relevancy, clarity, the speed of asking a question, voice and pausing. Let us discuss first grammatical correctness. The language used in formulation of questions should be correct from the grammatical point of view. This component is extremely important because if the language of the question is incorrect, then students will take more time to understand and respond to a question. It is expected to use grammatically correct statement with proper words. Here are simple examples of wrongly worded questions and their correct versions. Question number 1, where is Vinoba Bhave born? Question number 2, where was Vinoba Bhave born? Question number 3, do Harsh go to market? Question number 4, does Harsh go to market? Here, the first and third question are wrongly worded, whereas second and fourth are correctly worded. Second characteristic of good question, conciseness. Conciseness refers to the minimal but essential length of a question. A question is to be framed with proper words about the content. While framing a question, avoid extra words because extra words make communication less effective and confuse the learner. The following examples will help us to understand the importance of the proper use of words while framing a question. Question number 1, does anybody in the class know when India became a republic? Question number 2, when India became a republic? Here, the first question contains extra words which should be avoided. A question cannot be treated as mobile or telegram message with minimum words. A good question should always contain the appropriate number of words. Third one, specific. A question that asks for a single answer is known as a specific question. The questions should be specific to the content. Also, the question should be pinpointed and elicit a single answer. For example, question number 1, which is the longest river? Question number 2, which is the longest river in the world? Here, the first question is not a specific question because there are multiple answers to this question, whereas there is a single answer to the second question. Now, let us see fourth characteristic of good question, relevancy. A question related to the topic is known as relevant question. The questions which are not related to the topic being taught are irrelevant and they confuse the students. Use of terms which are beyond the knowledge of students is also irrelevant. Relevant question promote effective learning. For example, suppose the topic of discussion is sources of water. There are 4 questions. Question number 1, Where do rivers get water from? Question number 2. How do the sea and river get water? Question number 3. Have you seen ice on the mountains? Question number 4. How air is polluted? Now, the first and second question are relevant because they are related to the topic sources of water, whereas third and fourth questions are not relevant. The fifth one, clarity. Clarity refers to the use of simple words that can be easily understood by the students. The content should be free from doubt and confusion. The language used in the question should be according to the level of knowledge and experience of the students to be taught. If a question is not clear enough, it will lead to misinterpretation, and as a result, a teacher will have to provide necessary explanation and clarification. For example, question number 1, what about banks? Question number 2, what are the different functions of bank? Here, first question is confusing as it does not clearly mention what to state about banks, whereas second question is clear. Now, the sixth one, the speed of asking a question. The teacher should not ask a question at a slow speed or very rapidly. Very slow speed questioning decreases the fluency of questioning and is a time consuming activity, whereas very rapidly asked questions do not provide any clear idea about the intention of the teacher. In that case, students will not be able to understand the question and respond to it. For example, how many months are there in a year? How many months are there in a year? Here, first question is asked very slowly, whereas second question asked very rapidly. Therefore, the teacher should adjust his speed in such a way that students will get time to understand the question and to think about its answer. Now, next one, voice. While asking the question, teacher's voice should be audible and clear enough so that every student understands question properly. The voice should be pleasant. Teacher should ask question in a slightly raised voice to enable the students sitting at the back to hear the teacher. Next one, that is last, pausing. Pausing means the period of silence given by the teacher just after the delivery of the question to the class. The teacher should use a short pause after a question. Pause helps the student to understand and think about the question and formulate its answer. Also, pause enables the students to understand the intention of the teacher about the level of answer he expects from the students. The length of the pause depends on the type of the question asked. A pause after the interrogative words such as who, which, where gives stress on expected correct response. For example, where was Abdul Kalam born? Who is known as the father of India? Which fort in India is famous as the monument of law? In the above questions, pause should be given after interrogative words where, who and which, and also after the question mark. These are the 8 characteristics of questioning. In this way, we have discussed following 8 characteristics of a good question: grammatical correctness, conciseness, specific, relevancy, clarity, the speed of asking a question, voice and pausing.